Time to talk about the pure embodiment of 90s superheroes, Cable. Now, Cable's history is obscenely confusing, so we're just gonna skim through his origin really quick, and if you don't understand it, well, then we'll be on the same page. Cable was born because the insane geneticist Mr. Sinister wanted a very strong mutant that he could control, and found that a union between Scott Summers and Jean Grey would produce just that mutant. But Sinister's plan would almost immediately fail due to the fact that Jean Grey had been possessed by the Phoenix Force. However, he wasn't going to give up yet and just created a clone of Jean Grey. Then he got the clone and Scott Summers to hook up, and that produced the mutant child that he needed. So Nathan Summers, the baby who would become Cable, was born, and very shortly after he was born, his alternate reality half-sister created a psychic bond with him. That might be important later, or it might not. I don't script out my videos in advance, and I have no idea what I'm going to have time to cover. Baby Cable was extremely strong, or at least had the potential to be extremely strong, and Apocalypse knew this. So Apocalypse kidnapped Cable and infected him with a techno-organic virus that would basically replace all his body parts with machines and eventually kill him. So, wanting to save his son's life, Cyclops sent Cable into the future where he hoped they would have a cure for the techno-organic virus. But surprise, this future was actually ruled by Apocalypse. And they didn't even have the cure for the techno-organic virus in the first place, and so the people who were taking care of Cable in the future had him cloned again just in case the original one died, and then Apocalypse ended up taking the clone thinking that he was the original Cable, and that clone of Cable would go on to become the villain named Strife. But Strife ended up not being needed because the original Cable survived. See, his psychic powers are so incredibly strong that he can just hold the virus back and keep it from infecting any more of his body. It already got to his arm and one of his eyes and a lot of the left side of his body, but it's not spreading any further. Oh, but before we get to adult Cable, there's teenage Cable who actually time traveled back to modern day from the future to accomplish what his older self, which would be his later self, couldn't do, but he ended up not doing that and eventually going back into the future before adult Cable would time travel back into the future, which was the past, and keep doing his normal adventures. So Kid Cable travels back to the future, but then he grows up into Adult Cable, and Adult Cable time travels back into the past before Kid Cable showed up, and there he becomes an X-Man and starts X-Force and leads all the adventures of Adult Cable up to now when he's back again. And I say he comes back again because the reason that old Cable came back was because young Cable needed the help of his older self to defeat Strife, his younger baby clone from the future that I mentioned a minute ago, because Kid Cable wasn't strong enough to do it alone, so he went in time and got his old self again, and then the two of them defeated their baby clone from the future again for like the third time. And now Cable's just here. Also, he's one of the strongest psychics in all of Marvel, but his powers are limited by the fact that he has to hold back the virus or he'll die. I don't even understand what happened in this video.